This is Richard Skinner from London with another BBC Rock Hour special, this time featuring solo albums from two top rock drummers, Mick Fleetwood, and from Pink Floyd, Nick Mason. Can't Get My Motor to Start, from the brand new solo album from Nick Mason, the drummer with Pink Floyd. The album's called Fictitious Sports, and it's not really a solo album at all, much more a collaboration between Nick and jazz composer Carla Bley. It features some of the best jazz and rock players from Britain and the USA, as Nick Mason told the BBC's Tommy Vance.
It's not really a solo album at all. It's an album of songs that I like, played by and with people that I like.
Who is Carla Bley?
Well, she's an American jazz composer, primarily, but she's also a good keyboard player. She's written an enormous amount of material.
Can't Get My Motor Started is a track that's funky.
Yes, I think Carla knows that I've got a particular weakness for cars, and it's something actually, an obsession shared with Mike Mantler, her husband. And we've spent an awful lot of time when we should have been recording or engineering talking about cars, so I think she felt that was extremely well suited.
How did you become associated with her then?
Originally through knowing Robert Wyatt. I think through Robert I met Gary Window, the saxophone player, who's also on this album. And through both of them I met Carla when she came to England and was working on an album over here.
Because Robert Wyatt is, if you like, the most predominant vocalist.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I think in many ways some people will see this record as a Robert Wyatt album as much as anything else. He has a very special talent, and I think there's a lot of people who appreciate that, if you like. I think he can do vocal things. I also think he can actually write things that no one else covers. There's not many Robert Wyatts.
True. What gravitated you toward this collection of people?
I think it was a matter of looking for the sort of people that would, first of all, enjoy playing on this sort of album. And that certainly put the rhythm section together of Chris Pedding, Steve Swallow and Carla. The brass players, with the exception of Gary Window, who I'd known for a long time, were suggested by Carla.
Of late, this is the third album to come out by what I would classify as a major drummer fronting, i.e. Phil Collins, Roger Taylor. Then there's yours, but yours is chronologically maybe the first because it was put together in '79.
This is true.
Why did it take so long to emerge?
I think you'd have to ask CBS that.
Then why is it on EMI?
Well, because we're CBS America, EMI England, and it's considered bad form to release one before the other. England before America.
So America didn't want to release it?
Well, I think it wasn't that. I think they were engaged in some rather lengthy battles over other things.
And you got caught in the middle?
Yeah.
So frequently the story of musicians.
Absolutely.
Nick, how are the Floyd these days with regard to their financial affairs? How solid are the Floyd? I know that they're solid enough to be doing a considerable number of dates.
Yes, I think we're going to survive for a little longer. I think the age of the dinosaur is not yet over.
The amount of effort that goes into each concept that they create, of that amount of effort, most of it, in fact, all of The Wall, I believe, was written by Roger, to the best of my recollection, except one track, which was co-written by the producer.
Bob Ezrin, not Dave, also had some part in it. A couple of things.
I just wondered how much you put into the overall effort.
Well, I think, particularly with The Wall, it was very much Roger's baby from the outset. I think what I feel about my contribution to Wall is that the drumming on it is far better than previous albums where perhaps I've messed around more doing other things, but the drumming has, if not suffered from that, at least this time I've had more time to concentrate on making it absolutely as right as possible.
That's coming from a man who's been playing drums professionally since
the dawn of time.
66?
Yes, 66.
I don't know. So you must then be hypercritical of your own work.
Well, I'm fairly... yes.
Can I ask you if there are any further projects that the Floyd are into at the moment, other than The Wall?
Not really, because the real intention is to film The Wall. That was the original intention some time ago. But I think we've rather gone back on ourselves because we originally intended to do the filming in a studio situation. and then realised that this wasn't really feasible to get the sort of effect that we wanted. So we're back on the road, as I call moving from North London to Earl's Court. These shows are really specifically to slot into the film.
Would that also relate to the German performances earlier this year?
No, they was really put... I suppose in some ways they were simply done because we like performing the show. Although it's a fairly sort of rigidly formed thing, it is actually great fun to perform it. And I think that's really why Germany sort of came out. It was partly rehearsals and partly simply fun.
Are you going to put out any live albums of it?
Yes, well, I think the answer is there'd be a film soundtrack, because I think we'll modify some of the existing music, and Roger's intending to write some more material.
Back to your album, Fictitious Sports. Who do you see buying it?
I don't know. What I obviously hope is that people who are interested in the Floyd might give it a listen, simply on the grounds that it's relevant to the band.
There are great similarities. Hot River is an amalgam of various pieces.
Yes, it's, apart from being a fairly nonsense song, it's really a Pink Floyd pastiche, as you might guess from listening closely. It has all my favourite cliches of the last 14 years, as far as the drum track's concerned. Chris doing a slightly Dave Gilmour-style guitar, and a vocal track lifted straight off Dark Side of the Moon, apart from where it disappears underwater.